why your relationship mirrors your self-worth. And it's deeper than you think, because this is talking about your energy. This is talking about your frequency, what you're letting out, because that's exactly what you're getting back. Now, I'm not talking about how to be in a relationship, how to have successful relationship. I'm rather talking about how to shift your perspective, right? This is not about teaching perfection. It's about shifting perspective. And it's not about being a relationship coach or a guru, because I'm not, but I am speaking about how to shift your energy, how to align and heal your energy so you could attract better relationships. And with that,
it's 14 hours.
Based on my own experiences, what I had to learn was several things. I'm gonna constantly, every now and then, you'll see me look down, I'm looking at my notes, right? One of the things that I had to learn was, number one, about self-worth after chasing unaligned relationships, unavailable emotional relationships. I had to learn about my self-worth. I had to learn what was the problem. Number one, what's the root cause of me chasing unavailable people, or seeing that I always end up with unavailable people? Girl, like, this was getting tiring. It was so tiring, because I'm like, this is not even what I deserve. But I don't know, maybe my self-image was affected here. My self-belief was affected here, my self-worth. So then I had to figure out, number one, where is this root coming from? I was able to sit down long enough to be able to come with some answers, right? And a lot of that has to stem from, was it experiences in my teens, 20s, 30s? And it was, right? How I was left after a certain relationship, or how I took in that feedback of what that meant for me. How did that relate to my value? Or did I allow that experience or those experiences to define my value, right? Did this stem from childhood? And it did. How much of that was I in control of, or was anybody in control of? I feel like today we have more resources and tools to assist us with healing, but back then we didn't. So you kind of had to like wing it, right? And when you wing it, you get outcomes like attracting emotionally unavailable people. After experiences, after going through these kind of like outcomes over and over again, you get to sit down and really utilize the resources and tools that you have now. But you have to be like, yo, where's it coming from? So if it is coming from your dating life, it's coming from your teenage life, certain experiences that either you know, other people don't know, everyone around you know, and mostly everyone don't even know about. Childhood things, now you got to consider what your mother and father went through. Then you got to consider what their mothers and fathers went through. And if you could ask them, your grandparents, yourself, great. If you can't, now you're thinking, man, this is just generational as well, right? You can only be responsible for yourself, but if you are healing something that is in your blood because you just happen to keep experiencing certain things and you don't deserve it, or you don't realize that it's coming from your energy, from an entity in your bloodline, something that you need to release. You didn't have the right environment, childhood, whatever, to even learn these things. Now you're doing this work for an entire bloodline. Okay, now you thought you were just healing something for today, for this week, for the past 5 years. You're healing something for generations. Okay, so number one, you find out what the root is. Because if you're chasing someone who's unavailable, there's obviously a reason, because you keep getting the same results, right? And you want to change the result. You want to change your self-image. You want to change your pattern. You want to change your self-worth, your value. Because obviously if you have low self-worth, low value, you didn't learn how to develop a healthy self-worth, right? About yourself, have healthy self-value about yourself beyond just words. Oh, just know that you're valuable. No, beyond that, I'm talking about patterns, belief, deep-seated unconscious beliefs. Then it's going to affect you later on. So you want to start with that first, right? You want to identify the problem. Then you want to go to rebuilding your worth without this person's attention or anybody's attention. How do you do that? You start to give yourself the attention that you're seeking from someone else. Someone's not available. Someone's not respecting you. Someone's not calling you back. They're not asking you out on a date. Your friend is like going out with everybody else, but they're not inviting you. You see all your group of your friends somewhere, but no one spoke to you and even told you about it or anything like that. You give that to yourself. You rebuild your own internal self-worth. You take yourself out. What I used to do is Again, I talk to y'all a lot about when, as a nurse, I work nights. And I did that specifically so that I can enjoy the day. I would be at the beach at 12 o'clock. I would take myself out. You want to go to a restaurant? Take yourself. You want to buy those shoes? Take yourself. You want to buy that facial kit? Take yourself. You want to get a massage? You want to go and experience Thailand, okay, Japan or whatever, Africa, Haiti? Take yourself. Save up and take yourself. Do all the things that you're waiting for someone else to do, right? Or wanting someone else to do. And even when you think about it, you got to know what your values are too, right? What's important to you? Because I say you want to be successful or you want to make a lot of money. You make a lot of money, but now you're not enjoying it. Why? Because you want to enjoy it with the homies, right? You want to enjoy it with your family, with your friends, with your loved ones or whatever, but they're not there with you. So it's not as enjoyable. It's not as enjoyable. Joy is such a big concept and something that I think we really get to pay attention to when it comes to not attracting relationships or attracting relationships from a low self-worth. Like worth, value, and joy, they go together. That's sacral chakra. And I'm wearing orange today. That's sacral chakra all day. That's your creativity, that's your relationships, that's your self-worth, that's the divine feminine energy. And just to talk about that real quick, the reason why there's such a rise in healing right now is because we've been in toxic patriarchal energy for so long. So you got to balance it out, right? And when you think about hermetic principles, when you think about the universal laws, they are not bendable and they are not breakable. They are not human made. They're not man made. Okay. They cannot be broken and they cannot be bent. So when you think about the hermetic principles and the universal laws, you're thinking about the law of one. You're thinking about the law of your thoughts. You're thinking about duality, the law of feminine and masculine principles. Whatever you sow, you shall reap. You know, whatever you give, you will receive. Like these things, it must happen. You know, it's universal law. It cannot be broken. I don't care if it takes 40 years. Like in toxic patriarchal system, we were in that joint for like over 2,000 years. So now the rise of the feminine energy is real. But it doesn't mean to go into toxic femininity, toxic matriarchal either, because you're just as imbalanced as toxic patriarchal. So if you think about it in the color wheel, in order for you to get green, you need the right amount of yellow pouring into blue, or vice versa. The right amount of blue pouring into yellow. It's not just one dot of blue in a cup of yellow is going to turn green. No, it's a certain amount. Right up until you get to that point, then now it's green. And then now, let's say if you're going into toxic matriarchal, you're going to keep pouring yellow. Eventually, you're going to surpass the green color and it's just going to be yellow. So now you're too much in that. You didn't even maintain the harmony of the color that you was trying to create in the first place, which was green. So it's about a balance. It's really about a balance. Learning how to balance your own self-worth, your own energy, with that inner masculine within you, the feminine and masculine within you, before you could even see that outside, let alone with another person, right? You want to set energetic standards as well. That's number 3. So number 1, you have identify the root problem. Number 2, rebuild your self-worth without their attention, right? What are the things that you can make yourself feel better without anybody's attention? So when somebody try to come in your face and try to make it seem like, oh, they can't do this or they can't do that, you do it for yourself. You'll do it for yourself. Your energy is not chasing. You're attracting what is in alignment and what upholds what you already naturally do for yourself. And it's not to be mean or rude or cold. It's not cold. It's setting boundaries. It's being clear, right? It's knowing what you already are so that you could get that back in return. And then you also become empowered where you don't have to hold any resentment or anger towards anybody because they are where they are and you are where you are, period. Okay, number 3, set energetic standards. Again, final thing that I was just saying, setting boundaries is about being clear. It's about being discerning. It's about communicating and saying exactly what it is that you want. So if you keep attracting unavailable people, try to consider those 3 points because this is affecting your self-worth. The more you keep attracting those unavailable people, the more your self-worth goes down the drain. So you want to actually be able to stop and figure out what are the actual practical work that I get to do to change not only my self-image, my self-worth, and also the patterns because your patterns is literally what's happening from within you. So if you think about the Fibonacci sequence is like this. It starts at a centered space. Can y'all see that? Trying to make sure y'all can see that. Right? And then it spirals like this, and then it grows and grows and grows. Right? This is you. You're vibrating from the centered space of self-worth, of love, of peace, of prosperity, of knowing who you are, knowing your worth, right? This is God's source energy. Everything starts from here and then it creates on out. But if you're focused here, you're leaving this open for attack. You're leaving this space where you're not pouring any energy towards it because you're focused here. So then your focus changed to here, and this, just think about it unraveling, emptying out, and breaking. So now when this person, place, or thing leaves, right, because your attention matters as well, right, your energy matters to cultivate and to nurture this, now you're left by yourself. Hello, Pin. Exactly, with nothing. With nothing, right? Now you're left just as the dot all over again. But when you keep focusing your energy and your attention on your self-worth, you put that back onto you. Now you can create something again, right? I'm sorry, the pen, you can't write like this. It needs to be like this. So anyway, that's one of the things that I had to learn. Like, you're chasing people, but what's the problem? And it's not that you think, oh, you're just chasing somebody. No, this is the energy. Your energy is saying that you're chasing someone. And these are concepts that you had to understand with practice. You know, concepts I had to understand with practice. It's one thing to learn. Like, I learned a lot of my lessons before I learned the theory. And then I learned a lot about the theory, which helped me later on in life, because when the lessons came around, it was easier to digest, right? A lot of clinicals I had to go through, okay? Number two, stop confusing attention for affection. And that was one thing that I had to do. Thinking that, oh, if they're giving me attention, they're giving me some time, we're talking, I'm seeing, 2 hours on the phone, or we're going out, and we go out every other day, or even every other weekend, really, let's be honest, every other weekend or every week, this is going somewhere. But I had to stop thinking that attention meant affection, right? Or even affection meant attention as well, because that won't last. I remember Jill Lambert was like, expires after 3 months, right? So what else you got to pretty much live off of? And that hit me. I was like, oh, that was a long time ago though. And it made sense, because after everything expires, your body expires, the things that you're doing sometimes changes, you're evolving constantly. But your centered space, who you are, will never shift. If someone can fall in love with that, as much as you fell in love with it, you're putting your attention and you're honored and your value in that, then you'll always create a life of love, joy, bliss, because you are joy, you are love, you are bliss, you are peace. It doesn't matter if someone is coming in and out. And I think you see that now, even in relationships, a lot of people are shifting from monogamy to polyamory to polygamy. And I'm not talking about the ones where people just want to do whatever they want to do. I'm talking about everyone is consent to doing this, okay? And everyone is consent to how it's done as well. So there is no jealousy or anybody's trying to do anything purposely to make it seem like they're the ones that's the best, or like healthy relationships. And you could judge all day, but people are realizing, hey, maybe I may not want to be monogamous. So maybe I want to figure out, how can I put monogamous and polygamous together? How can you get to play around and see what works for you, right? Maybe you might be like, I do want to be monogamous, but I want us to still have freedom. I don't want it to be where you feel like you're in a cave. You feel like you can't do this. You feel like you shouldn't do this, right? But you really want to be in a position where it's like, I have the freedom to do whatever I want to do. But now I'm in a situation, do I want to take the opportunity to do X, Y, Z? Now I could actually ask myself, if from a healed space, you know what am I going to lose? Would it be worth it? Would it be worth it for me to lose this? And now you have the freedom to choose. And usually 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, people will always choose not to lose something that is valuable to them, despite what it looks like. But what it feels like is a lot better. And it feels like, I'm not willing to lose this for that, for just today, for just this week. and that's from an empowered state. That's how I think you get to really create healthier relationships, because there's clear communication, there's freedom to choose, but you get to trust that someone is going to choose from a harmonious space, a healthy space, right? And when you do that, now you can have a healthier relationship pretty much with anybody, either if it's romantic, platonic, and it depends. It doesn't matter what you're choosing. Okay, so one thing I had to do is like stop confusing attention for affection. So I had to read the energy. How's their actions towards me, not their words? What are their actions towards me? And after a while, you get to change your energy and your pattern so you could see new results. If you keep getting the same results, then you know that you need to change your patterns. You need to change your belief. You need to change your self-image around your self-worth, around your joy. If you can't do that, you're going to keep seeing the same patterns. That's how you're going to know, oh, okay, I'm still creating this. All right, then there's something else that I need to, like, for me, it would be like, oh, I'm controlling this. I'm trying to control what I think this outcome should be. Wrong. Okay, that's where you're going to run into problems. And I really like the Wu Wei concept, the Chinese philosophy. I picked that up a few years ago. I listened to a lot of Alan Watts, and he talks about that a lot too. And Wu Wei is really talking about effortless action, right? And it's not like you're not doing anything, but it's just like you're flowing with what you're being given. So if it's like, okay, you think of it like if there's a big rock, the water goes around it. It doesn't try to stop it. It doesn't force it. It doesn't put all its energy onto it to break it down. It goes around, right? When you think about you're outside and you're far from the next bus stop and it starts to rain and you have no umbrella. Wu Wei, effortless action is going to work out the way it needs to work out. I'm going to get rained on. I guess I'm meant to get rained on today. It's kind of like that. And when you're like that, you kind of allow the experience to reveal itself to you. Because maybe you're not meant to have like, oh, I think we're gonna get married, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that in your relationship. And you might not even see this person after a month. Next week, you might not see them. In 2 days, you guys won't be talking. Okay? It's a possibility. And let's say when that happens, now what? Instead of you feeling like, oh, well, they said this and that. No, what's the energy telling you? Read the energy, not necessarily the words. What's the action? Okay, I don't hear from them. They disappeared after a month. Oh, it's crazy because this didn't work out after 6 months, 3 years, whatever it is, right? You just surrender to that. What did that experience teach me? What can I learn from this experience right now that it's happening? It's almost like, yes, we're co-creating our reality, but co-creating is two. One is you taking action. The other one is source creating with you. This person, place, or thing, I'm bringing into your life because you called it in. You want to create what you want to create, but I'm also creating this. Can you see the beauty or the magic of what this experience, this person, this place, or thing is trying to teach you right now? Instead of trying to control it and say, this is where I want it to go. This is how I want it to be. You want to really pay attention to that, because if anything is affecting you and you're anxious, when you're trying to control, now you become anxious. And that's your body, your biofield, remembering how you've been behaving, right, with this pattern. And now it's signaling to you, change this pattern, because you're not going to get a different result. Or your body's going to be like, red alert, like what's going on? So you could pay attention and focus on yourself. Oh, this is a pattern. Let me stop controlling this. Let me just surrender. Because I don't know where this is going to be. It would be nice for this to be this way, but what is it about me? Now you got to go back to the root cause, right? What is it about me that wants this to have this certain type of outcome, when I really just get to surrender and enjoy this? I don't have to limit myself. I don't have to withhold from anything else. I get to still enjoy the beauty and the joys of life, of connecting with other people and talking to them, right? And doing my creative work and still showing myself love, still showing up for myself, and seeing where this is going to go. And the behavior, the action, the energy is going to let me know what this is on a day-to-day basis. Okay. Number 2, redefine what love feels like to you. We just spoke about that, how your biofield, your nervous system is literally letting you know or signaling to you if this is something that you want or not. When you're in anxiety, when you're overgiving, when you're overextending, when you feel like you're over worrying, you're thinking too much, you're in the future, you're not in the present moment. When you need to be taking in that energy, okay, to check yourself. Number 3, you want to validate yourself daily. I don't care if you're doing self-reflections. I don't care if you're doing affirmations. I don't care if you're journaling, you're praying. You're pouring energy back into you. That centered space. You're pouring energy back into you. You're not focusing on that thing, person, place, or thing, where your energy is leaking. And then over time, the energy dissolves, right? It starts to empty out. Just imagine this being like, it starts to be spacious again. What I'm trying to say, it disappears, right? This starts to disappear, disappears, right? Till it gets here to what you've been focusing on, because now you're changing from this point to this point. But that's not how creation is. You can, but you want to co-create with someone else, you get to always stay here, right? Generator. There's 3. There's the Trinity, mind, body, and spirit. It's not just mind. It's not just your thoughts. It's not just your feelings, right? It's those 2 creating the Vesica Pisces inside that creates a portal for you to create whatever it is that you want to create. But you still have to maintain your part of the deal, your centered space, right? Y'all, it's just a dope experience to actually feel in my body and to just see how things are going. And again, I'm not perfect. I'm still growing, I'm still learning, I'm still evolving. But one thing I do see is that my energy is shifting. My energy is changing. My self-concept, self-belief, self-image is changing. And that's a beautiful thing to see when you're practically putting in these examples of how you're showing up. You're changing your patterns, you're changing your belief. When you can actually just sit down and like, oh, hold up, let me just chill out. Let me see what this is teaching me. You could actually be quiet enough, right? Because if you're in anxiety, you're constantly over worrying, or you're thinking about the future, you're in hyper mode. When you're in hyper mode, you can't sit down straight enough or long enough to even think about your way out of a situation, right? You need to be able to stop and really center yourself, take some deep breaths, right? And then really see what's going on here. Why do I feel like I need to go after anything outside of me? And that's with everything in your life, okay? All right, let's see. The energy shift, some things that help me to attract, right? Emotionally available people. Now, what's been happening is that I'm attracting more people that are emotionally available. Why? Number 1, I'm checking in within myself first, right? I'm radiating from a divine feminine perspective. I'm being more receptive to my energy. I'm paying attention to my patterns, to what I'm saying, to what I'm doing. And then I'm pouring more energy into myself. I'm helping my nervous system out. I'm paying attention to the environment, all of those things, right? Doing some type of breath work, doing my chakra healings. I do a lot of chakra healing with sound therapy or affirmations and mantras. Those things help because you're putting all that attention and frequency and energy within yourself, right? Number 2, you want to heal through self-honesty. You got to be honest with yourself. Like, I have to admit, like, I was addicted to the energy of potential, right? Oh, this has potential. Potential don't mean anything because potential could stay right there and never move. Potential is not action. Potential is not, this is already in momentum. Potential is like, it's available, but it may never be used. And we already know if energy doesn't move, it dies. And you don't want to be in a relationship or an energy or give your time or attention to anything where the energy is not moving, right? Because you're thinking about the potential. That's like thinking about the future. Nothing happens in the future until something happens right now in this present moment, right? I was always like, oh, there's potential. And it's like, girl, the only potential there is there's a potential where you're never going to be moving from. This will never change. Okay. Number 3, match the energy that you want to attract, right? So if you want to raise your vibration and be more consistent, then you can't keep fantasizing about potential. You can't keep fantasizing about where this could possibly be in the future. You got to match that energy. You want better communication, you start to communicate. And if that person, place or thing, your job, whatever you're putting your energy into doesn't bring that communication back, doesn't mirror that communicate, then cool, we'll wait. Like, effortless action. You don't have to do anything, but just let it unfold. Let's see what happens. I'm not saying to just keep riding it out, but don't force anything to happen. Allow the experience to unfold itself, right? So you want to do self-care rituals, grounding rituals, breath work. I've been doing a lot of qigong, a lot of yoga, and that's been helping me to ground my energy so that I could keep reminding myself anytime I have some type of, let's say you just meet somebody and you're talking to them and you're excited and now you're already projecting and fantasizing. You get to ground yourself, wheel it back, okay? Wheel back that energy and pour that energy into yourself, your creativity, your self-care. Go out to nature, go do certain things that bring you joy, because the whole thing is to not give your power away to outside of you. Everything starts from your centered space. If you're not there, who's gonna be there? Who do you think is gonna come and stand there? If God is like, hey, source within you, God within you, right? That energy within you, the higher source, the mother, father within you, that is looking to take care of that inner baby, that inner child. You're not there. Who's gonna take care? Imagine leaving your child at home unattended when they're like 2 years old, 1 year old, for like days, weeks, months. You guys know what would happen. Exactly. Somebody's gonna come in and grab that baby and you'll never see that child again. Okay? And you don't want to disappear from your inner. You don't want your inner child to disappear from you. That is you. That is a part of you. All right? And it's super important for you to be present no matter what, no matter who, what, when, where, whatever comes into your life. They'll come in, they'll come out. You get to nurture, you get to choose from an empowered state, from a willingness. I want to do this. It's not worthy of me losing this, right? Letting someone be in that position where they can choose to decide instead of you trying to control the outcome. Oh, I don't want them to cheat. No, forget about all of that. Oh, maybe they're doing this. No, forget about that. Always go back to yourself. Stop worrying about the other person and worry about the energy that you're pushing out. Worry about what you're attracting based on your vibrational centered space, where your frequency is. So use these relationships. I don't care if it's platonic, if it's romantic, if it's with your family, if it's with your best friend, and especially if it's with yourself. Use it as a guideline. Use it as feedback. What happened? Is it okay? Is it recording? I hope it is. Use it as feedback. Use it as guidelines of what's happening within you, right? Check your emotional baggage, build safe relationships with yourself, and strengthen your faith in divine timing. Because whatever you're doing, however you're feeling, that's what you're going to mirror back. And how lucky are you that people will mirror back to you what you're doing to them or where you're coming from. If someone ghosts, how are you ghosting yourself? If someone is not communicating, where are you not being honest and expressing yourself? Everybody's literally a mirror to you. And instead of getting emotionally in the game, get centered. Get centered. Be able to be self-aware, to be conscious. Live a conscious life, not an unconscious life. Don't let your emotions create a life for you that you don't want to live. Be conscious enough to choose and to change, right? Implement that Wu Wei. Effortless action. Things, allow yourself to flow in experiences and, I don't know, enjoy the wonder of what this experience is teaching you, because it's much more than the control of the outcome that you want is usually going to be 10 times better when you just surrender. It's going to be 10 times better when you just surrender, because you'll be able to hear and see what's actually happening, but you'll miss it because you're trying to control it. And when you suffocate something, it dies. It dies. It doesn't live. It doesn't become stronger. It only makes you weaker. It makes you sad. And now here you are creating this whole anxiousness, anger, resentment, sadness loop and pattern all over again, because you haven't learned, that your relationships are mirroring your self-worth. Learn that. Take action. I really hope this video helped you guys out. This has been super helpful for me, and I'm so excited. It feels good. It feels freeing. It feels light. It feels soft to get to the bottom of any type of imbalances in your energies and your beliefs and your patterns. It feels so good. I'm telling y'all, like when you start to release these entities and these energies, you start to see things so much clearer, and you really get to enjoy life for what it is. Release control, really, like be detached And not saying don't put in your energy into something, don't give it love, don't nurture it. That's not what detach means. Detach means do that and surrender the outcome because you did your part. You did your part. I was gonna say your point. You did your point. Your point. See, I said it anyway. You did your part. So release the outcome. Now you could express what you would like, but if you have to put in a lot of force, you have to control, you have to like do anything outside of yourself, you're out of alignment. You're automatically out of alignment. All right. Give this video a like, y'all. Subscribe. Share this with a friend. Let me know how you feel about this video. I would love to hear from you guys at the bottom. And make sure you guys check out the comment section. I'm going to put the Emotional Mastery and Magnetic Protection ebook there. And also, you can go and follow me on my Cosmic Tarot activation channel. Sorry, if you are interested in some tarot messages, because I'm also doing some videos on there. And I love how chakra healing, tarot, astronomy, like going more into this has really helped me to like quantum leap in healing. And I love to come back and share that with you guys on this channel. So that as like, before healing was taking like 1 second increments. You know, if you think of a clock, right? The 1 second increments, that's how the healing was. Now it's like 15 minutes increments. 15 minutes, like from 15 minutes to 30 minutes to 45 minutes, like quantum. And it comes with practice. So don't give up on yourself. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. Okay? I really believe that. We're creating a beautiful world. Be a part of it. Don't let it pass you by.